Good day everyone, my name is Dharshanaan Jeeva and my matrix number is 299166. Today I'll be presenting a book review of Transport and Information System and Transport System, Policy and Planning for the Transport Information System course. The purpose of this presentation is to review and evaluate how both books explain transport technology, planning and policy in modern transport system. First, I will begin with the introduction and overview of the book. Let's begin. The two books selected for the review are Transport and Information System by Roger Stott, Yoshiro Higano, Kenneth Button, and Peter Nishkamp, as well as Transport System, Policy and Planning, a Geographical Approach by R.S. Tolley and BJTLK3043. Both books focuses on transport system from different perspectives. The first book mainly discusses on the information technology, intelligent transportation system, and how digital communication affects the transport demand and traffic management. Meanwhile, the second book focuses on the transport planning, policy analysis, geographical transport system, and sustainability issues in urban and rural areas. I chose the books because their contents are highly relevant to the transport information system course, especially in area of ITS, transport planning, policy, evaluation, and modern transport management. In addition, both books combine theoretical knowledge with real-world transport case study and making them useful references for understanding the modern transportation challenges and solutions. Both books mainly discuss transport system, transport planning, and the role of technology in modern transportation. Transport and Information System focuses on intelligent transportation system, information technology, and how digital systems influence the travel behavior, traffic management, and transport efficiency. On the other hand, Transport System and Policy Planning focuses on the transport geography, policy analysis, sustainability, and urban and rural transport planning. I chose the book because both books closely related to the Transport Information System course. The topic discussed such as ITS, transport demand, and transport policy and planning strategies are highly relevant to the understanding of modern transport system. In addition, in the book also provided practical examples such as real-world case study that help explain the current transport challenges and solutions more effectively. The main idea of transport and information system is the relationship between the information technology and transport system. The book explains how intelligent transportation system, digital communication, and telecommunicating influence the traffic management and travel behavior. Meanwhile, transport system, policy and planning focuses on the transport planning, transport geography, and policy development. It explains how transport systems are managed at urban, national, and international levels while also discussing the sustainability and environmental impacts. Some important concepts discussed in both books include the intelligent transportation system, telecommunicating, transport and demand supply, traffic information system, and sustainable transport planning. Several key highlights are also presented in the books such as Singapore Electronic Road Pricing System, GIS application in freight transportation, urban transport policy, comparison and environmental issues caused by the transportation system. The main themes discussed in Transport and Information System include the intelligent transportation system, traffic information management, telecommunicating, and the impact of ICT on transport demand and mobility patterns. Meanwhile, transport system, policy, and planning focuses on the themes such as transport demand and supply, urban and rural transport challenges, sustainable transport policy, and environmental impacts caused by the transportation system. The author's main purpose is to improve the understanding of modern transport system by connecting the theoretical concept with the real-world transport issues and practical applications. The both books also aims to promote the more efficient and sustainable transport planning. The themes in these books are developed through academic research, real-world case studies, policy analysis, and international transport examples from countries such as Singapore, United States, and several European nations. Both books have several important strengths. One of the main strengths in the use of real-world transport case studies, which helps the readers understand how transport theories are applied in the actual situation. The both books also provide the strong connection between the theory and the practice, especially in the area of related to the transport planning, ITS, and the policy analysis. However, there are also some weaknesses since both of the were published many years ago. Some information examples are outdated compared to the modern transport technologies and the current transport policy. In addition, some chapters are used heavy academic language which may be difficult for beginner readers and understand. In terms of writing style, Transport and Information Systems is more technical and research orientated with detailed academic discussion and quantitative analysis. Meanwhile, transport system, policy and planning uses a more structured and reader-friendly style, making the explanation easier to flow, and especially for the students studying the transport system and geographically. In my opinion, both books are informative and academically valuable, understanding transport system and modern transportation issues. However, I personally found transport system and policy and planning easier to understand because the explanation are more structured, reader friendly, while the transport and information system is more technical and research focused. One important lesson I learned is that information technology can significantly influence the transport system, especially through the intelligence, transportation system, and telecommunicating. I also learned that effective transport planning is very important for improving mobility, reducing congestion, and supporting the sustainable development. These topics are very closely related to the situation in Malaysia, for example, of traffic congestion in Kuala Lumpur, and the development of smart highways and ITS technologies clearly reflect the many of the concepts discussed in the both books. These books would highly benefit for transport and logistics students, urban planners, researchers, and policymakers who are interested in transport system, transport planning, and intelligent transportation system. I would recommend both books because provide useful knowledge about the modern transportation issues from different perspectives. One book focuses more on the technology and ITS, while others focuses on the transport policy, planning, and geographical analysis. Although some examples in the book are slightly outdated, the theories and the concepts discussed are still relevant and useful for understanding the current transportation challenges and the future transport development. In conclusion, both transport information system and transport system policy and planning provide a valuable knowledge about the transport system, technology, policy and planning. Together, these books offer a balanced understanding of both technologically and geographically aspects of transportation. Overall, I found both books are highly useful for understanding a modern transport challenges and the importance of the efficient transport management and sustainable planning. As a final thought, I believe the technology, transport policy, and planning must work together to create a smarter, safer, and more sustainable transport system in the future. Thank you for listening to my presentation. If there is any other questions, comments, and feedback, I would happy to discuss them. Thank you so much.